Good morning, everyone. I always say that. It's morning no, it's afternoon in Palm Springs, but it's really late afternoon in Florida. So Jennifer Mayo at Jennifer? Henderson Beach Resort. I don't know how I don't remember that. It's because we were talking about Penny Creel for a minute and I got off track with Salamander. But Jennifer, how are you?
Fabulous, fabulous. Happy to be back at work.
Oh, I don't blame you. And I said how beautiful you look today. And all the years I've seen you at trade shows, I've never seen your hair that long. So
No.
It's funny to. But
no haircuts, doing me good.
You look great. So welcome back to work, right?
Thank you.
Okay, tell me, when did you guys open in Florida again? You're in the Panhandle for people who don't know. So.
Yes, gosh, we opened the spa. I can't even remember. I know we've only been open about a month.
A month.
In the spa. The hotel opened around the 8th and the spa opened around the 15th, something like that. So the spa was a little behind the hotel.
And which is very common today. In fact, I have a friend in Vegas who said, you know how everything's phase 1, 2, 3, 4? They're telling him in Las Vegas, you guys are like phase 18, so don't bother us right now, right? So we think we're the most important things in our lives, and we are, but sometimes corporate doesn't look at us in the same thing. So before we started taping, you mentioned how the rules are a little unclear in your world, and I said yes, and my friend in Chicago and my friend in Colorado, and I'm in California, and everyone is saying the same thing. And so how is it that you go forward when the rules aren't clear?
Yeah, that's a good question. And, the state of Florida has been disorganized, as many states have been. And I think the most frustrating part is the Board of Massage Therapy is on the medical board. So we got wind that the spa could have been operating massage therapy at April 27th. But by the time we figured that out, it was end of May. Then we were calling the state or the board itself to get clarification. And they were very vague about giving verbal clarification. And they finally sent an email, and then so I finally got someone on the phone who said, no, you can open, you're on the board of the medical, you could have opened April 27th, all is well. So a lot of our industry leaders reached out to the governor for a little more clarification, and they kind of publicly announced that massage can be offered now. And now the state of Florida is in phase 2, and they've publicly announced massage parlors, which all of us hurts our souls to hear, but massage establishments can open back up. So the communication's been awful, and I know Miami's really struggling because it's almost like Florida can open up now, but Miami-Dade cannot, and then some documents say they can. So it's definitely been a struggle, and I'm sure we're not alone, but there are some states who are a little more organized than us. But
you've put out, obviously, all the guidelines, all the changes, new protocols for cleaning, et cetera, et cetera. Tell me about your staff, getting them back to work. How many have come back to work? Did some not want to come back to work? What's up?
Well, we were in a better situation because we had a loan to supplement our employees' income while we were ramping the business back up. So because of that, everyone pretty much came back.
Wow. Cool.
They were, guaranteed a paycheck, which was beautiful that our company was able to figure that out. So a lot of my team worked in housekeeping and engineering, painting walls and cleaning rooms before we were opening the hotel. Then when we came back to normal operations, I did lose a couple of people on the team. Honestly, this has been very challenging, I think, for people's mental health. And so there are some people who have taken some time because they've had other personal things in their life compound on top of a pandemic. So more to do with their stress level. So a couple people have decided to take some time, but in general, I would say 95% of my team is back.
Okay, so the stay on unemployment was not an issue for you because that's been an issue in other places where people are going, I'm not really ready to come back to work because they're getting the huge bump from the government.
Yes, so it's interesting. So I will say this, our state is one of the lowest paying states in the nation. So even with the extra $600 stimulus we were getting, it's way less than what people would typically make in the spa setting. My therapists do very well. I mean, they're making $60,000 to $70,000 plus a year. But because we had this loan, exactly that happened. It was basically like, you come back, you get paid. If you don't want to come back, you lose both. So you lose the opportunity for the hotel to pay for you, or you don't get to continue with your unemployment. So,
and honestly, I have to tell you, with, I can't remember, is there's 20 million people unemployed or 30 million, whatever the number is, it's outrageous. And it doesn't sink in our brains because we're not used to the Depression era numbers. But why would you mess around with your job? Go back to work and start working. But it's not in everyone's mindset to do that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to say, so it's interesting, right? So I feel two different ways about this. I feel like, yes, if you are healthy and able and strong, you go back to work and you support your community and your family. If you're not, you have a compromised immune system or there's other things going on with you, then maybe you don't come back to work, but there's an unfortunate circumstance of how does that person get taken care of. Right. So that's a little bigger than my responsibility, but it's been interesting.
Your problem is you're trying to talk common sense, and that's not very common, to paraphrase Ben Franklin, right?
Exactly.
Let's talk about your menu. What kind of changes have you had to make on the menu? How about time between treatments to clean? What's that look like?
So I made a lot of changes, mostly to ease back into operations with the new disinfecting guidelines. I mean, we all know spa takes things seriously, and we clean and we sanitize and disinfect, but we wanted to ramp that up. So my phase 1 of opening, I only was offering massage, no hot stone, no salt stone, just because it was more stuff to clean.
Right.
No facials, no waxing, no body treatments, no makeup. So we were going to do a massage and manicure, pedicure, and hair styles. So I think I went from maybe about 40 plus things on my menu to maybe 15, 20, just so it was manageable. We also changed everything from 50 and 80 to 60 and 90. And we have 15 minutes in between cleaning time. My first phase, we decided to schedule half of my treatments. I have 12 treatment rooms, so we scheduled 6 of the treatment rooms. Then the therapist moved to the other side of the spa so we could do a deep clean of the room. Now, we did that practice for 2 weeks, mostly for people to get used to literally wiping ceiling to floor down. Now we're back into what I'm calling our phase 2 of the spa, where they're no longer bouncing back and forth. The therapist is staying in the same room, still 60 and 90-minute services with the 15 minutes in between, and it's very manageable.
Same pricing? Have you changed pricing?
I did not. I've gotten a little bit of angst about that because our amenities are closed right now, but I've explained that, due to the heightened awareness of COVID-19, we've had to increase our personal protection equipment, our sanitation and disinfecting products. And I'd say most people would get it, but.
Have you done anything to look at like the electrostatic kind of machines and what do you see out there?
Yeah, so we have, I think this is, I just got this in. It's a wand and it's UV light.
Yep.
And you can put it over fabric material, which is really good because there's not much you can do for fabric. So that's the company.
Turn it around again. You had it the right.
I had it right the first time.
Germise. Okay, never heard of them, but I'll have to go look them up.
So we just got these in. So this is going to help us when we start opening up our locker rooms and our lounges so we can do the furniture. The problem with this is you do have to wear goggles because you can't look at the lights.
Yeah.
We also got, I don't have an example of it, but for our hotel rooms, it's kind of a glass jar and you put like an aerosol thing on top of it and you could spray down the furniture. So we're doing that in the guest rooms. So it's similar to a fogging situation. It's more of a liquid than a fog, but so we'll probably purchase that for the spa too, for the furniture. Yeah. And this you would, do in front of the guest, obviously would protect their eyes and not put any shine it, but they would actively see us doing these things. And I think that's the one thing our hotel has been doing and a lot of people learning is guests want to see you in the forefront of your procedures. We used to kind of hide everything. You put everything in a cabinet.
Behind the green curtain, right?
Exactly. And, you do most of your deep cleaning at night at the hotel, but now we're kind of being more visible of our
yeah. What do you do in the retail area? How are you managing that part?
So this is interesting. So I actually oversee all retail in the hotel as well as spa. So one of my therapists was like, why don't we just ask the guests to wear a glove if they want to touch? And I was like, great idea. So we have a little station at the front of the door that has a hand sanitizer, a little sign that says, please, if you ask for assistance for merchandise, we have them wear a glove and they can touch merchandise, because people have to touch to buy, just human nature. We're not allowing anyone to try anything on, and all sales are final. And I thought it was going to hit our numbers and hurt us, and it has not.
You know what? I have a friend in another business I'm in. He calls that the law of unintended consequences. It's like, oh, we're probably selling more retail and we don't get anything back and people buy easier. Who would have thought, right?
It's funny that you say that, because, and it's also funny. So our hotel has been taking it very seriously. All of our employees are wearing masks. We're trying to social distance as best we can.
Right.
Even though our governor has really opened up the floodgates for us to kind of go back to a normal. But because of it, I think some of our guests could care less. A lot of our guests appreciate what we're doing, and our food and beverage numbers have outpaced years before, because no one's leaving. So we are not doing transportation like we normally did. So now everyone just eats at the hotel, and so our numbers have soared in the restaurants, and our numbers are doing very well with retail.
I mean, there's no van to run them up and down the beach, right? So they stay in the property. I love it.
Exactly.
All right, I have two final questions for you. What about your vendor partners in the spa channel? Anyone been good at helping you? Special deals, pricing extensions, any of that kind of stuff going on?
So Chelsea Bond and Binka, and I'll name drop.
Name drop's good. Go ahead.
Both of them were really kind to hold some orders off that I had before we closed. And they were also kind enough to, when we reopened, are you ready for them? And instead of forcing us to bring them on when we weren't so ready. And they're both smaller companies. They're women-owned companies. And they also were careful with the invoicing, even offered to, like maybe we pay some of this invoice here and pay the rest. So they've been super generous, and I have a great relationship with them. I know that all vendor partners maybe can't do those things, and I understand that their overhead might be way different. But I think while we were at home, I have never been prouder of our industry, because our people have come together. If it was, Cord was Zents doing yoga classes, free meditation. I'm now the vice president of the Southeast Board of the association with Miss Elena and Liliana. We have worked our tails off while at home just to get ahead of this before we all open back up. I've been thoroughly impressed with Comfort Zone and Kirsten Florian and just Noel Asmar and I'm sure Paul from Pure Fiji, who's been doing all this education. And
one of my favorites.
Yeah, well, everyone loves Paul. And, a lot of it we've done without being paid. A lot of it we've done just as a community. I think Elena said it best the other day was we've always been in this together, but we even more so are not competing with each other. We understand that spa is so important, not only to the health and wellness of our country and our world, but we have to keep it going safely and professionally. So I've always been passionate about what I do, but I feel even more on fire about the kind of people in our community.
Well, you're wearing red, so you look like you're on fire. Or you said orange, but it looks red.
I know.
Final question. Trade shows. Are they on your calendar to go next spring? What does it look like?
Yes, that's a great question. Most trade shows have canceled. iSpa's canceled, I believe, right? So I understand, sadly, but I do understand why. My boss and ownership would be very sensitive to me going to a trade show right now, and understandably. But I think 2021, everyone's going to be antsy to get out and go back to normal. That I do anticipate going to trade shows again.
I always say, people ask me why I don't retire, and I go, I am retired, but I'm in the spa channel. So people who are in it totally understand what I mean when I say that, because the people we do business with, they're our friends as well. They're our personal friends. It's very different in our industry that we have these kind of relationships, and I'm so thankful that we do in the spa channel, and I'm so thankful that you would spend some time with our listeners today as well.
Thank you.
By the way, people, if you don't know this, okay, Jennifer Mayo Spa, the Henderson Beach Club, she's in Destin, Florida. They're known for their white sand beaches. If you have not been there, make a reservation. Go spot her hotel. You will absolutely think new about North Florida or the Panhandle, right?
Right.
I love it. See you soon.
Bye.